Welcome to GoVMlab, India's first job-ready VMware learning platform where professionals meet experts to revolutionize their VMware careers.
In every virtualization technology, we are actually trying to transform hardware into software, or we are trying to create virtual version of physical component. That is what virtualization is all about it. Now, this is what virtualization is all about it. Okay, now let's talk about the cloud. That what is this cloud is all about it then, right? So to understand the cloud, let's take a very basic example, right? That what cloud is solving a problem for us. Let's take an example that, let's say, I mean, I hope all of you would have heard a very old song from the Kishore Kumar, right? Or maybe Mohammed Rafi or Lata Mangeshkar, right? And I think they were in a very 70s and 80s time, right? So let's take example of 1970s, right? So 1970s or 1970, 80s, right? If you wanted to watch, let's say, I mean, maybe you wanted to hear Kishore Kumar or Mohammed Rafi songs, or maybe let's say there was a we wanted to you watch Ramayana, for example, right? So let's take it because it's a personalization of TV. So let's take an example of this Ramayana. So let's take us back for a moment in 1970s, okay? And you want to watch Ramayana, right? The Ramayana, which I'm referring to. I'm referring to the Ramayana of Arun Govil, right? I think I have seen this Ramayana since my childhood, right? So we are talking about a very old Ramayana, right? Which I think we have witnessed, right? So let's take this example. Let's take us back to the 1970s, 1980s time frame, and let's say we wanted to watch the Ramayana. What was our approach to watch that content, right? If you really see at that point of time, what used to happen? We used to have something called network TV. Network TV means there would be a one TV box. You would have seen something like that, and they really used to have a very limited set of stations. They might be having like 5 6 stations, and then the content whatever would be coming to that TV, it's local to your geographic location. Let's say you are into north side, you will only get stations which can speak in Hindi. If you are on the south side, you will only see the stations which can talk in their local language, right? Maybe Tamil Nadu or Karnataka, right? So the point here is that at that point of time, if someone wanted to watch a TV, they had a very limited stations. That's the first thing. Second thing, the content was very much specific to their locality, that which location they are trying to watch the content. And third important thing, when you wanted to watch a TV, let's say Ramayana is coming morning 9 o'clock, no matter which location you are at it, you have to run all the way to your house where you have that TV. You need to tune your station, and then the Ramayana used to be broadcast on our TV, right? I think everyone would have seen this experience of watching the Ramayana early those days. And let's say for one of the reason, if you miss that Ramayana, you miss that episode. There is no way you can again replay that episode, right? At your own choice. We cannot do that because the kind of TV we had it, right? It has a very own certain limitations. But then what happened? The next innovation, what we have seen after a few years, we have seen the concept of cable TV, right? Then you would have seen some service provider, the cable provider. This cable provider will come and say that, okay, you purchase our cable subscription for per month, and then we'll give you more number of stations, right? And second thing, we will also lay down a cable all the way from cable provider, whoever is broadcasting those station, to your home TV. So we'll lay down the entire network of cables, and then we will also give you more number of stations at much lesser price. And then we will make sure that we'll make that TV available at your home, because network TV, when you see that, not everyone was having TV at their home in those cases, right? Early days, what used to happen, very few limited people used to have a TV in their home. So someone who does not have it, you would have seen those cases in the villages where one TV used to be there and hundreds of people used to go and sit outside their home and used to watch that TV, because only one person could have that TV and stations and broadcasting and all those things, right? But with the next few years fast forward, what we have seen, the new cable TV came into the picture. It will install one device next to our TV, and then that become a receptor, right, for those channels. And it will also give us more number of stations, and in fact it will try to give you those stations in the local language also. Let's say you are from South India, but because of the job you are staying in the North India, and you really want to see the content which is in your language, right? early days what not possible, but now this cable provider with this their cable network, they made it possible that even if you're at the north location, you can actually go and watch out the channels which are there in the regional language. But what was the limitation here? The limitation here again was the same, that if you want to watch out the same Ramayan, so see, the content is same. Here also I'm watching the same Ramayan. Here also I'm watching the same Ramayan, right? But the only problem in this implementation also was that I need to be in front of my TV, because the program is being broadcasted at 9 a.m. in the morning, which means I want to watch that program. I need to be in front of that particular device. And second problem, this program can only broadcast only on my TV, right? So if I need to watch Ramayan, I really need to be at my home, and I really need to sit in front of that device at that exact time. This is what we have witnessed in the era of cable, right? And in fact, we used to buy those subscription from the cable provider, and there was a complete network of the cable provider. But we have seen the pain point of these cable TVs. But then But then the next evolution, what we have seen the application TV, right? We started seeing the streaming platform. Now, what this streaming platform come and say that you want to watch Ramayan, I'll give you the same content of Ramayan which you are seeing it here. The content is same. The same Arun Govil Ramayan or Ramanand Sagar Ramayan, what you are seeing it in the network TV, maybe 70s and 80s. I'm gonna give you the exact same content, but the delivery model is changed. Today, you only have a one platform, which means you do not need to tune up hundreds of stations to watch a specific content. One platform, one station, I'll make it available at any location. No matter you are outside, you are away from home. You don't need to run away all the way to your home and get access sit in front of device just to watch that Ramayan. I'll make that Ramayan available to you wherever you are. And most another thing, I will not come and say that this thing you can only see it on the TV. I'll make this same Ramayan content available to you on your TV, on your mobile, on your laptop, whichever device you have it. You access the same content from whichever location you are in, right? And most important thing, I'll present that content to you at your time. If Ramayana is being coming at 9 o'clock, it's fine. I'll make it available to you at your time. So you can watch it at your own convenience. You don't need to go and rush through the specific time slot and then watching it. And another important thing, they also give the curation. Today, the platform understand that what is your choice of movies, what is the choice of your content. And based on that, the system itself will go and help you to give you the content of your choice and saving your time, efficiency, and making your life easy. That is the innovation we have seen in the last so many decades, from 70s to 2024, right? Last 50 years, if you really see that, right? So my question here is that if you really can relate it from this example, my question here is that the Ramayana content have changed? Here also you are seeing the same Ramayana. Here also you are seeing the same Ramayana. Here also you are seeing the same Ramayana. The content is same. The user experience to watch that Ramayana is same. Your grandfather will say that, okay, we have also seen the same Ramayana and you are also seeing the same Ramayana. This is what we are seeing. But what we are telling to our grandfather, our delivery model has changed in the last few decades. Right? So the delivery model has changed, and that is the evolution we have seen in the industry. Giving the content on demand and making our life easy. This is what the example, right? Relate the same example on the radio also. Earlier, we have this AM, FM kind of radio, limited stations, local specific reception and programming. Then we have seen terrestrial radio where we used to get more stations, services available at our home and on one device. But today, what we have seen is Spotify. You want to listen Kishore Kumar song, it will give you the same experience what you used to have it in 1970s. Today also you will get the same experience in 2024. So nothing is, your experience of listening that Kishore Kumar voice is not changing. Your grandfather, our grandfather have listened that song, right? We are also listening to the exact same song, but then the delivery model has got changed to present that song to us. It has its own challenges, but this platform has simplified our life. And that's why I keep saying that innovation is all about simplification. How much simplify you can do your process, right? That is what innovation is all about. And then when we talk about the cloud is also same, right? When let's say I'm a programmer, I'm writing a hello world program. I have to write hello world program on C language. So what is I have to do? I have to write hello world program in C language. This is what my end goal is as a programmer. I'm a developer. I'm developer. My specialization is writing a code in the C language. That is what my expertise is. So take that example. And today I want to write a code. Hello world. Go back to 1970s. When I wanted to write a same code, I used to have this. I need to sit in front of big mainframe server, as you could see that in the in the diagram, right? And there's a lot of complexity. We used to have it to operate that system, getting that infrastructure, writing that code, compiling that code, and getting into a lot of complications. We used to have it, right? I have to travel all the way to that particular location where the mainframe servers are present just to write that code. But then later on, what we have seen the evolution of servers, tower servers, rack servers. We have seen the client server architectures, right? Where what happened, the server got compact. So here we have a big mainframe, a big giant mainframe. It got compact. It become more portable. You can put it into the racks. And then we have seen the ILO kind of stuff where remotely I can get access to my server ILO and I can start uh, writing my code. So if I have to write my same C code, so hello world code, what I have to write it here, right? C code, right? I still need that same compiler, right, to compile my code, right? So I can still go and write my same C code, but now my life has become quite simplified because here I have to deal with the complexity of mainframe server and the big giant server, and then launching that program interface, writing that code, compiling it, a lot of complexity. But with the emergence of the server model, what happens? There many manufacturer came and they started simplifying the server implementation, and they easily got accessible in every single data center. So as a developer, writing a code got little bit more simplified for me. But still, I have to rely on this servers. I need to get the servers up and running, and then I have to go and write that code, right? Think from a cloud perspective. Today, I'm again a cloud developer. I mean, I'm again a C developer. I have to write a code. What do I need it actually? I just need a one interface where I can write my C code of hello world, because my bread and butter is printing this code. So the question, if you really try to understand, is anything changed for me from the developer perspective? There also I was writing same C code. Here also I was writing the same C code, and here also I was writing the same C code, and output is coming exactly same. Hello world, right? So nothing has changed from me as a programmer perspective, because the output is same consistent output I'm getting in the last 50 years. Hello world, same printf. I type it, and then I'm getting the same output. But what has happened? The infrastructure, what I need to write this code, has got evolved in the last few decades, right? If you really see, the infrastructure have got evolved today from all the way to mainframe to client server architecture to the cloud. Because with the cloud, what is that today I want to write a code. You know that, right? There are portals. You just open up that portal, start writing your code without worrying about that where this code is running, which server this code is running. It's a Dell server or IBM server, how my networking is coming. You don't bother about it. You are programmer. The moment you open one particular website, codewriting.com, the moment you do codewriting.com, one prompt will come. You will just start write printf, press the enter button. You will see that the code is getting compiled and you are seeing the output is coming there. Look at, try to understand how your life got simplified. Earlier, just to write that same hello world code, it might take 5 days for you. From 5 days, it reduced 5 hours to build this infrastructure up and running. But now from 5 hours, it reduced to 5 minutes. This is the efficiency. That is what we are talking about. That is what we are talking about. That cloud is not doing anything new. Cloud is just simplifying the things for us, connecting all those interconnected components, creating a very simplified model for us so that our life as a consumer gets easy. So that's the reason, if you remember, right? Virtualization was about the data center, but the cloud is about the users. So whatever I have to write the code, and the moment I type this website codewriting.com, right? Suddenly a pop-up comes and I start writing my code here. This is cloud for me as an end user. But again, you need to understand that how this pop-up is coming, where it's coming from, so fast, so easy. That is where underlying there's a virtualization, which is making it possible for us. Which is so backend there's a virtualization technology which is making it possible for this cloud layer to go and give the prompt to the user the moment it type the website and execute that code, right? This is what the interconnectivity between cloud and virtualization, right? There would not have been any cloud if there is no virtualization, right? So what are the key characteristics of the virtualization? Server consolidation and containment, resource pooling, and virtualized workloads, as we have discussed, right? It's a consolidation of the resources, it's a pooling of the resources, and virtualizing your workloads. What are the key benefits? Obviously, when you're doing the consolidation, which means you are saving a lot of money in your hardware, your resource utilization is very high, and there's a lot of flexibility the virtualization gives you. But what about the cloud? The whole idea of cloud is it secured multi-tenancy. Now, cloud is something where it gives you a notion where you can multiple provider, multiple organization can leverage the same infrastructure without compromising and without leaking their each other's privacy. That is what the cloud makes sure that. So cloud will not come and say that no, no, on my platform I will only allow Airtel vendors to go and access the resources of mine. I will not allow Vodafone users to go and access my resources. No, the cloud implementation is like that. No matter which vendor you are, it has a multi-tenancy in place, the infrastructure in place to making sure that even if multiple vendors or multiple companies are leveraging the same infrastructure platform, still there's a privacy between them, right? So they make multi-tenancy possible. On-demand resources, we all know cloud is about on-demand. Cloud is all about self-service portal, right? The cloud is something where they will just give you catalog. You go and develop whatever you want to do it. This is what application architect or cloud architect really does it on the AWS, Azure, Google, all those platforms, right? Resource tiering and chargeback. You can actually go and define resource tiering, that what kind of resources you have it, and you could have a tier one resources, tier two resources, right? With a different set of characteristics, and the charges will be according to that. A high performance system will be chargeable highly. Less performance system will be charges less. So they have this kind of chargeback model. Not everyone is treated equally in the cloud. The more quality you need it, you need to spend more money. More cheaper thing you need it, you need to spend less money. So you define what you need. You want mobile phone, it might come in the 5,000 also. But if you want iPhone, it might be charging you 1 lakh rupees, right? So it's up to that. So key benefits is economies of scale. So we all know that it's a pay as you go model. Elasticity is one of the key capabilities of the cloud. Agility is another capability of the cloud where you can actually go and really optimize your infrastructure. And cloud is a platform which will always be optimized for the new generation of workloads, right? Because this is what cloud services are all about, it, right? So they will never come and say that no, no, this is workload is something our infrastructure does not support. So every new generation of application will always be there on the cloud. So you just need to plug and play the infrastructure rather than redesigning everything from the scratch. And they also give you the financial cost transparency where they will give you the complete cost insight. If you ever seen AWS services, right? They give you the complete insight that in the entire data center, which entity, which service is using how much cost. And based on that, you can do the analysis of your operational expenditures or capital expenditures, and you can optimize the cost of running operations in the cloud. So this is what cloud is all about, it, right? And this is what this slide says that challenges. Why not? I mean, I think I already tried to explain that why the cloud has to come. People come and say that there was a virtualization, then why someone really have to come up with the cloud? Because cloud is the next generation of innovation which is solving the native problems in the virtualization implementation. One of the basic problem was multi-tenancy support. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to continue watch this lecture, then join our exclusive YouTube membership program only at the price of 299 rupees INR per month and unlock your VMware potential with GoVMlab. With this membership program, you can unlock all of our members only content published on our YouTube channel. You can watch out the videos presented on your screen to know the benefits of GoVMlab subscription as well as the membership program. Thank you.